All right, let me get up there. Oh, let's start with clean weather. Hang on one sec. I know. PJ standing by. I know you're standing by, PJ. I'm still loading the weather show. And I will go for a little while, and then we'll get it over to Mary. No, and I'm trying to tweet out also, or no, hang on. I'll have it. Yeah. All right. All right, I'm ready to go. I'm going to give a 10-second countdown. I'm assuming PJ's standing by. Mary, keep working. I'll be going for a few minutes. I'll call you. Oh, and if you hear stuff on Facebook, because you've got that, when people start chiming in, just ask the questions. All right. I'm going to give a 10-second countdown for PJ in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello again, Howard Bernstein with you on this snowy Sunday morning where we've seen anywhere from an inch to some places 5 inches by 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock out toward Harrisonburg and Stanton. Those areas really got hit hard, but even up down toward Culpeper and Warrenton, southern Fauquier County, we've seen some 3-4 inch totals that extended in toward Spotsylvania County near the courthouse. This is what it looks like here. We are live at 9:34 Sunday morning. A little bit of snow on the camera, but the area around Reagan National, the roads have been okay. The crews have been treating them. It's been snowing light enough that for most of the main roads in and around the D.C. region, they've been fine. It's those untreated roads that have been not fine and have been snow covered. Here's a picture early this morning. Adam Moore was coming down. This was at 6:16, already at 3 inches of snow in Summerduck, Virginia. This is in Spotsylvania from Michael Hicks. I think he hit this one to me on Facebook at around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and he was telling me before we got done, 3 to 4 inches of snow were down there. And so what I've had to do, and I had the 5 to 8 in the mountains earlier for how much snow I think we're going to get, sort of have this little hook, if you will, down south where we've seen some bigger snow totals of 5 to 8. And this goes till about 7 o'clock tonight. A general 3 to 5 across the region with lighter amounts down in southern Calvert, St. Mary's, the northern neck, and the lower eastern shore because the mix is likely to keep your numbers down. And that's going to be the concern as we head in toward the afternoon, if not later this morning, with some of the mix down there. Look at this storm. This storm's been impressive. Part 1 has winter storm warnings going out in areas in the Midwest, even back towards Chicago, winter weather advisories, Ohio, western PA. Then once you get to the ridges east to southern New England, we have winter storm warnings which go down into North Carolina, and just about all of us are under those winter storm warnings. A couple things, there's a lot going on this radar. First of all, you've got the primary storm here, but a lot of dry slots. This looks like a dry slot trying to come toward us in a little while. So we may see a shutdown later this morning before it picks up. So yeah, not an easy forecast by any stretch. But where you see the blue down south, the Richmond south, I think there's a lot of sleet starting to mix in down there, if not just some freezing rain. But they're switching over from snow into that wintry mix down south. Locally, our temperature's still running in the upper 20s to low 30s, so that's why the snow has had really no trouble sticking to the untreated surfaces. I'll zoom in, and while most of the snow is light, occasionally we see a little bit of blue like this north of Fairfax, south of Reston, tracking over toward maybe Tysons, maybe just west of Tysons here, and back between Haymarket and Chantilly, we see a little bit of that blue. That's more moderate snow, or almost moderate snow, and we see that another nod of that more moderate snow. It looks like it's maybe around Sharpsburg, if you will, and north of Sharpsburg, headed toward Myersville, toward a place like Boonesboro as well. I'm going to see some of that into Frederick. So we're picking up some snows here. And I measured 1.7 out on the weather terrace as of 9:15, 9:20. You know, a nice flat table, elevated, boom, rule it right in. It was an easy measurement here. And we are looking at the snow. Also, a little bit of a lull now toward Harrisonburg and south. So is this going to head toward us and kind of shift things down for a little while? Sometimes forecasting is a very humbling profession, and today's going to be one of those days. And again, this is the sleet from Richmond down toward around looks like areas south and west, almost to Lynchburg. Well, south of Lynchburg, but this is all sleet. When you see the brighter colors, it's not heavy snow. It is transitioning to sleet and potentially a little bit of freezing rain and rain. So we are looking for today that wintry mix, rain, snow, on and off. And then this evening, as temperatures creep up, maybe just a plain old rain or drizzle, if not a flat-out lull at times as we head especially into the overnight hours. I want to bring in my colleague Mary Marshall. And Mary, you've been watching these snow totals and checking out the Facebook Live. So A, what are the most impressive totals? And B, what are people asking this morning?
Well, so far we're just getting in, so we haven't gotten too many comments yet, but reach out to us on Facebook. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here to answer your questions directly about what's going to be happening in your neighborhood. Howard, here are some of those higher numbers that we've got. It came from Dale Enterprise, Virginia, in Rockingham County, 5 inches there. Culpeper, Virginia, 3.2 inches. Stanton, 5 inches for you. Potomac, Maryland, this is new, 1 inch in Potomac, Maryland. And Fredericksburg, Virginia, 1.9 inches. So some of those higher numbers have come from Virginia. In D.C., this is what Howard measured, 1.7 inches. Hughesville, Virginia, 2.6 inches. That's in Loudoun County. Oxon Hill, Maryland, and Prince George's County, just over a half an inch there. And Manassas, Virginia, along with Leesburg, 1.5 inches. And of course, this is where we're going to get the bulk of our snow today. So we're anticipating these numbers to go up, and we'll keep you in the loop about that. It is definitely a yellow weather alert type of day. I can tell you that one of the main hazards that you're going to face out there are going to be the slick roads. Take it from me, I came in this morning, barely a dusting on the road that was untreated, but I started to slide. So it doesn't take much to start slipping and sliding in this snow. Even if you're a veteran snow driver out there, still it could happen. So keep that in mind. Walking the dog this morning, it's going to be cold and damp. So yes, you're going to need a towel for that. Slow travel. Even as the snow begins to pile on, and crews have certainly treated those roads, if you do get any slush on the road, that could make you want to slow down a bit as well. We're not anticipating much in power outages, wouldn't rule it out totally, but it's not a huge concern for us today. The big concern is obviously going to be the snow and the road. So here's a quick timeline. This morning, obviously, we're seeing the snow falling across the area, and the accumulation will really begin to pick up just a bit. Now, as we also look at what's going to be happening Sunday afternoon, you are looking at more areas start to see a mix. After 1 o'clock, there's going to be some mixing, especially south of D.C. In general, by 7 o'clock, most areas will have at least 3 to 5 inches of snow at that point. And then as we get into Sunday night, the snow becomes a little bit lighter. Some areas start to pick up on rain and freezing rain. And we're also looking at that mix again happening south and east of the D.C. area. And as we look into Monday, we're looking at a brief transition from snow and rain mixing back over to snow. So that is what Howard's going to be talking about a bit more as well. And then as you look in southern Maryland, snow to rain, then back to snow. I know it seems like you're going on a yo-yo ride. Yeah, and we kind of are. And then you're looking at snow to ice to snow in D.C. So there could be, like, as we mentioned, a little bit of freezing rain mixing in, and then back to snow on the back edge. And Howard's going to talk more about that low as it develops on the coast. And then mostly snow along Hagerstown and Martinsburg. Howie, I see you got your phone there.
Yeah, no, I've been looking at Facebook.
What comments are you getting?
Well, she's saying they got St. Mary City. She's claiming 4 inches. I'd love to see a photo.
Wow,
but
yeah,
if that's
Arlene sent us that.
If that's the case, my 1 to 3 has already been blown away down in southern St. Mary. So we'd have to take the 3 to 5. I'm just not sure how much more you're going to get for a couple of reasons. A, the mixing, but also that dry slot. Manassas, we're hearing anywhere from maybe 2 to 3 there, but it's been southern fog here down toward Culpeper. These areas down Spotsylvania, 3, 4, 5 inches going down. And it was Dale. What was the name of that town with the 5, Mary? Dale
Enterprise.
Dale Enterprise, and
yep.
I looked it up. It's west of Harrisonburg down here. So Harrisonburg and Stanton both reported 5 inches so far. And the mountains have been getting hit at 1.7 here in northwest D.C. I know folks are asking how much, and I'm going to try to answer your questions there. Hey, guys, stay off the political stuff. This is no need for that. This is just weather. Please take it elsewhere, will you? Let's see. Snow day. Look, doesn't look to be much more snow in some spots. There was that dry slot. I wanted to point that out as well as we look at your comments here. It's doing pretty good in Woodbridge, Lake Ridge area from Laverne. But this is what's got me concerned. See this right here. as it's moving toward the Shenandoah Valley, this dry slot. So there could be areas, especially south of 5066, that get into this dry slot, and that would potentially be D.C. in another hour or two. So maybe we get to 3 and kind of stop for a while, and that would keep the totals down. Your areas north, they keep it in the mountains. They keep it in eastern West Virginia. Areas up toward I-70, maybe northern Loudoun, upper Montgomery, where it stays snowing for a while, so they could get more totals. This is a very dynamic system with a lot of pieces. So if this happens, this actually would be a good thing for the road crews, because when it's not snowing, they got the chance to catch up, do a little plowing, get the salt on. From what we've seen on the road crews, the main roads, it's been snowing lightly enough, if you will, that they've been able to keep most of the interstates just wet. Most of the main roads just wet. It's been those secondary untreated roads that have been just wet. Ellicott City, dusting has been almost nothing. Yeah, the dry air, Jay, north and east of us has kind of been eating the snow so far. But Ellicott City, you've got a chance a little bit later also as the coastal low starts kicking as we head into tomorrow. That's when I think that Ellicott City later tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, or overnight, they can get quite a wallop of snow potentially with the coastal if it stays that far south. Eastern Pennsylvania is going to get hammered by the coastal. Annandale still looking at the general 3 to 5 as we look at that. Got a report from Adam, just over 4 inches now in Summerduck, Virginia. That's in southern Fauquier County as we're looking at the Facebook comments there. Front Royal, I think you guys have had about 3 or 4, best I can tell, but let me just zoom in on the radar a little bit more here. Notice this dry slot, Luray to Harrisonburg South, that's almost to Front Royal, so we'll pick up more snow, but it may be more difficult to accumulate till later, depending on how that dry slot resolves itself. And you know what, meteorology, and I know you're getting specific numbers on apps, it is not a perfect science. There are things we can tell you. We knew there was going to be a storm. We know the storm's going to transfer from the main to the coast, right? Those things, big picture things we know. But sometimes exactly how much snow in your backyard, it's almost an impossible thing for us at this point. You know, maybe in 10, 20, 30 years, the science will advance, but it's not there now. Gainesville, a little over 2.5 inches. Thank you, Ashley. How much are we looking at in Taneytown once it's all said and done? Now, Taneytown's up north, right, in northwestern areas in Carroll County, almost on the Frederick line. Let me go back to the map here and just show you what I was thinking here. By the way, this is just through 7 o'clock Sunday, but you guys could pick up double that in Taneytown as we head with the second batch with more snow tomorrow night. So Taneytown could be in the 6 to 10, outside chance of a foot up there, because you will be seeing more snow. It's from D.C. south where the numbers of how much more snow do we get after midday today, lots of question marks at that point. Glen Burnie still snowing. Stafford, I've heard 3 to 4 inches in Spotsylvania, so Stafford's had less, if I'm not mistaken, but I still have Stafford close to 4 or 5 inches or so when it's all said and done. Waldorf, I have you guys in the general 3 to 5 range at the moment. Colonial Beach has about 2 inches right now. Winchester, I have you in the 3 to 5 as well. The thing that concerns me, especially Winchester, that dry slot coming in could zip out. Fauquier has at least 5 to 6 inches. Well, Stacy, where? Faulkner's a big county. Because I know we got some big totals south. I don't know what's going on in Marshall or the Plains. I haven't had any reports from folks up there, though Round Hill a couple hours ago had 2 inches in southwestern Loudoun County. So the forecast is for snow, Holly, on and off today, mixing with some sleet, freezing rain, especially south and east of town as we go through the afternoon. All right, hey, Allison, good to see you. Oxon Hill around 2 to 3 p.m. Will be snow with a chance of sleet or rain mixing in. But this is one of those days where if you have to go out, I think you can get around, but it's also one of those days where if you do not take your winter driving seriously, you're going to get in trouble, right? Because the interstate may be fine, you hit the ramp, boom, or you hit a secondary road where you can't go at 50 miles an hour anymore and you're not really on guard, expecting it, you can get yourself in trouble very quickly because we will have lots of variable road conditions, all depending on where the road crews have salted and plowed or not. And that's just something you have to make your own decision, how comfortable you feel going out and doing that. Hagerstown, still looking at potentially 9 to 12 inches when this is all done by Tuesday morning, Tuesday midday for the storm itself. Farmville has at least 4 inches. Jillian, remind me where Farmville is. All right, Tim, thank you very much. Culpeper, I think, has had about 4 or 5 inches from the reports I'm getting already. And Prince William County is in the 3 to 5, the whole county. You know, we think there's about 2 to 3, maybe an outside chance somebody's got 4 already. There, Remington, Bealton. Yeah, that's also with the summer duck that has 4 inches now. So you're in the same vicinity at the moment. And I've dragged that toward the, you know, I've dragged you guys into the 5 to 8. I mean, if you got 4 plus now, I mean, 5 to 8 seems, by 7 o'clock seems pretty good. Culpeper, 4.5, right in on what we've been hearing. Thank you for that, Bobby. Cheryl in Lignum. I don't know where Lignum, Virginia is, Cheryl. Do you know where Lignum, Virginia is?
Let me look it up.
Lignum. Only Brookville area. I'm still thinking 3 to 5 generally for them. I live in Upper Montgomery County, so only Brookville. If you guys had 4 or 5, maybe more so. But that dry slot has me nervous about my forecast. I'll be honest with you there. Stacy, I know there've been quite a few accidents in spots today. You're in Michigan. It's snowing good. Thank you, Amber. I'm sure it has been snowing good.
Lignum is right outside of Culpeper.
Yeah. All right. Okay, that makes sense then. That 4 inches in Lignum with the 4.5 in Culpeper, that makes a lot of sense. Right there, 2.5 in Marshall. Right, so thank you for that. Kathy, that tells me a lot because Marshall, which is up in the northern part of Fauquier County up here, has 2.5. The southern part of the county has 4 plus. So we've got quite a difference from northern Fauquier to southern Fauquier. I mean, the county, other than the main roads, I think 17 and 29 are definitely passable, snow-covered in spots, but you know, where VDOT doesn't get, that's where you're going to be on snow-covered roads, and that's where you got to take it easy this morning. Springfield, Virginia, I think I saw Alexandria 1.5. I think Springfield's approaching 2 right now, so that's why we have them in 3 to 5 through 7 o'clock. This ends at 7 o'clock. This is not a storm total. This is through 7 o'clock. The other part of the storm, and I'm going to fast forward past the radar to the other map here. Shows, and granted, we've got light to spots of moderate snow. This is the dry slot I'm talking about, now working its way past 81, almost to the Blue Ridge, almost to Charlottesville, almost to, it looks like it's to Front Royal now. So we will see a lull in the action here in a little while, and all the south of Richmond. This is all sleet, moderate sleet or big fat wet flakes mixing in, and that'll be the case at times today. Some lulls, other times some rain mixing in. Where was that second? There we go. This is the second round from Sunday night to Tuesday morning. And you'll notice south of town, I have very little snow, additional accumulation, traced to 1 inch. DC north, maybe 1 to 3. And then north of there, when you get toward I-70, and when you get into eastern West Virginia, 3 to 5, and some areas in the mountains, and certainly Pennsylvania, and then northeastern Maryland, a good chunk of Delaware, Jersey, 6 to 12 plus. There will be areas in eastern Pennsylvania that top out maybe at 20 inches plus, because they're going to get pounded by the coastal storm. They're going to get a little on the front end, and then interior northeastern New England will get pounded by the coastal. And for us, while we may get a little additional snow Monday into Tuesday, the winds at times later Monday night, Tuesday, even into Wednesday could be gusting 20 to 30 miles an hour. So that's going to keep it cold and uncomfortable around here, but at least we won't be getting pasted like those guys do. You'll be driving through it coming from Alabama to Charles County. Well, Jason, you'll probably be okay depending on how late you get up here. But most of it will be rain for you, I think, until you get up this way. Upper Marlboro, still have Upper Marlboro, again in that, that was in that 3 to 5. Let me see if I can back it up to the first map here that we were looking at. Oh my goodness, we're showing the ski report. I did that this morning, but I'll get you that map. You know, I'm not at the computer, so I'm doing things remotely here at the moment. There's the map.
You want to step over, Howard?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm all right, but thank you, Mary.
Sure.
This was the map through 7 o'clock tonight. I did add the 5 to 8. We do have some areas already to 5 inches here, but there's also a dry slot coming in, so that's going to cut down on some of the additional accumulations here. I'm frozen. Well, it must be.
And Lignum, Virginia, you said that was 4 inches.
That was
from
4
there?
inches, yes.
All right, we can show this really quick. We'll just show the viewers some of the reports that you guys are sending to us. So Wolf Trap, Virginia, just got this report, 1.9 inches. Roseville, Virginia, pardon the snow rule. I'm going to do a demonstration in a moment, 3.5 inches. Leonardtown, Maryland, 1 inch. And then from Lignum, Virginia and St. Mary's City, Maryland, we're getting reports of up to 4 inches of snow. Now, if you are measuring and you don't have your nifty WSA9 ruler, any ruler will do, you want to measure in at least 3 different places on a hard surface, preferably not where there's been like a snow drift where snow has been blowing, but rather 3 hard surfaces so you can get a good average. And then let us know what you get. Tweet us, write it in the comments here. We would love to know.
And don't take a measurement right by your house, right? Because you could get some snow blowing off the roof. You kind of want to be in an open area. You know, just get away from the house a little bit. Like today, I mean, everything's flat, so I'm only taking one on a flat surface. But ideally, as Mary says, the average of the three would be the way to go. Did you want to add something else, Mary? Did I cut
No,
you off?
I'm trolling for snow numbers
Okay.
here. I want to know who's getting what. And
Okay.
Send us some pictures as well. We want to see if it's safe. You know, if you don't want to go out in the cold, we get it. But if it's safe, if you can snap something from your window, show it to us. We want to see it. We want to share it here with everybody.
Hey, Tim was asking, with wind on Tuesday, do we have a possibility of blowing and drifting? Maybe a little bit, but this is going to be wet. It's going to be heavy. I think it's going to congeal Monday night or Tuesday into some iciness. So I don't think there'll be that much blowing and drifting, maybe a little bit. But those areas in, obviously, Pennsylvania, Ontario, Northeast, yeah, they're going to have quite a few drifts. I think some impressive drifts, probably, 5-6 footers on those drifts, if not higher than that. So let me see. Hey, Todd, good to see you this morning. The colder the weather, come on, David, go away on that one. You know what? David gets blocked for that. All right, sorry about that. Dulles, Virginia, 3.5. Where are you getting that? Is that from you, Jimmy? Is that from the airport? But 3.5 in Dulles by now with the dry slot coming? Yeah, so, yeah, I'm still going to hold on to the 3 to 5 for Dulles. Pasadena, oh, that's in St. Mary's County, right? Now, somebody said St. Mary's City had 4 inches of snow. I'd love to get more verification down from St. Mary's, because if that is true, and it may very well be true, I just don't have any verification other than one report, then I have to take my 3 to 5 and bring it down here, because they obviously have gotten more snow on the front end before the mix. My thinking was we'd be down 1 to 3 only because it would mix out, and that would keep their numbers down. Richmond, I don't know yet. 2 to 4, I think, is what they've been generally seeing for the most part. Sarah's up to 5 inches in Culpeper. Percival, I have them in the 3 to 5. Yeah, any ice coming, says Sean Friendly. Sean, yes, ice is coming a little bit. We think there'll be some, if not light freezing rain, maybe some light freezing drizzle. Probably a 1/10 of an inch to maybe 2/10 worst. I don't see any like ice storm situation, but could areas that stay below freezing tonight into a good chunk of Tuesday have some glazing? Sure, it's certainly a possibility. So if you're thinking about clearing your car off when the snow stops and you live north and west, I'd like to clear ice off of snow as opposed to scrape ice off of a windshield. So I might not clean my windshield north and west. And I have an extra vehicle, a beater minivan. I think everybody should have a beater vehicle, whether it be a pickup or a minivan. We moved it out of the street into my driveway because a couple of years ago, believe it or not, it was parked there. Guys were cleaning out the cul-de-sac, boom, totaled my minivan, backed into it with a snowplow. You know what? I got a salvage title. It's still usable. I use it as a beater, but it's always a threat when you leave a vehicle on a street with a snowplow that something can happen. So yes, I have experienced that. I should share pictures. My wife laughs at me when we're driving on that thing. But anyway, I'm sorry, Mary?
3.2 I'm seeing at Reagan.
3.2 at Reagan?
That's what the National Weather Service is reporting.
Well,
3.2.
Well.
Train spotter.
Guess it's been coming down pretty good since I took that measurement half an hour ago.
Yeah.
But Reagan National coming in with 3.2.
Yeah, we're going to do a new snow map in a moment.
Brunswick has about 2 inches. Thank you, Jamie. Gaithersburg probably has between 2 and 3, but I'm still holding the 3 to 5. Let me show you what's going on with the radar and why I'm thinking that. First off, winter storm warnings in much of the area. Radar is showing a dry slot now, right, in parts of West Virginia getting in toward the Shenandoah. Dry slots give forecasters nightmares when we try to forecast. Dry slots is enough to really just make you pull your hair out. But north of there, it's still snowing at a good clip across parts of northeastern West Virginia, western Maryland, northern Virginia, and areas east of the Blue Ridge, right? I'm gonna go and show you Front Royal, still some light snow, but Luray, Harrisonburg, almost Charlottesville in the dry slot now. And that's moving east, so that's going to shut down the snow for a little while. We will see as the main low moves east how much of this could fill in. Because if we get enough lift to return, then that will fill in. That'll just generate clouds and snow and lift and snow, and that's how that works. Meanwhile, down toward Tappahannock, we've got some, looks like moderate snow mixing in there, if not sleet, and I'll have to check that in a moment. In fact, I'm going to check that right now. We'll go back. I'm going to switch over and share something with you. We look at something called the correlation coefficient on the radar. So right now you're used to seeing the regular, what's called reflectivity. But when we look at the correlation coefficient, it's basically saying, all right, what am I seeing? What is the radar seeing? And this is the regular mask. But the radar can see things in the correlation coefficient. Is it all the same type of precipitation? right? Is it all rain? Is it all snow? Or when you see, let me switch over toward, I think Wakefield was the better choice. There, you see this line? And I'll circle it for you. This is the sleet area. That's now starting to come in, maybe to Tappahannock now. So this is why when I'm seeing that brightness, what we're looking at. So this whole area right here, that's little bright yellow here, that area is where it's changing over from snow to sleet. So this is north of Richmond, and hang on, right? You see it south of Richmond, excuse me. South of Richmond, that's sleet to Williamsburg, and that's the sleet line right now, where it's changing. North of there, it's all snow, and that at least is based on the Wakefield, what Wakefield is seeing when it looks. And if I look, I don't know if Sterling is seeing that far south. It is not. Roanoke, we can peek at their radar as well. And their sleet area, it's right on Roanoke, right? You see that brightness right on Roanoke? So that's where that is. So we still have a ways to go. So Richmond is probably looking at some big fat flakes because the sleet is still just off to their south. While we're looking at the snow and the dreaded dry slot. If you were a snow lover and want to see snow, yeah, I don't like seeing that. I'm a snow lover. All right, snow small flakes in Waldorf, maybe an inch on the ground in Waldorf. Thank you. 1 inch Tacoma Park. Appreciate that. So where we've had some bands of snow, obviously it's been picking up, 4 or 5 inch totals, but we've got the other spots only about an inch saying, hey, what's going on? Well, this is just the nature of snowstorms sometimes with the haves and have-nots. So that is where we are now. What will be the final total for Hagerstown and Frederick? I think the final total anywhere from 6 to 12 for Frederick and Hagerstown. And I know it's a big range, but a lot of it is determinant on what happens, A, with the dry slot, and then B, with the coastal storm as we head into tomorrow. How much more snow do they get on Monday night into Tuesday morning? And that's still a little bit up in the air. How much is coming to Falling Waters, West Virginia and Hagerstown? I kind of just answered that question. Hot chocolate type of day, yeah. Amy, it was maybe one of those grilled cheese and tomato soup types of days, if you know what I'm talking about, and you probably do. You want me to say Nanjamoy, Mandy? Is that all? Okay, Nanjamoy, and that's in southern Charles County. And they're probably looking at a 2 to 3, outside chance of 4 inches is my guess.
Welcome just got a report of 1.1 inches.
I'm sorry, where?
Welcome, that's also in Charles County.
Okay, a little over. So a lot of places in Charles only got about an inch.
Yeah,
maybe,
1.1 inch.
And we had that 1.5 inches total as well. 1 inch Tacoma Park saw that. I'm just going back. All right, we said Nanjamoy for her. Brunswick with 2. I'm just going, okay. I don't know what that picture is from Hottie Hottie, and I'm not going to click on it.
Yeah, don't click on that.
I don't click on links during these things.
Let me get a few little updated totals because the National Weather Service just put out a little public information. Now, I will say this. Some of this that we're looking at, these totals, this was taken at like 7 in the morning, and we haven't gotten a new one in for some of these areas, so they're probably going to even be a little bit higher. But
my
the latest
measurement, that was around 9:15, 9:20.
Yeah, so some of the other ones from the National Weather Service were a bit earlier. So Reagan National, that was 3.2. That was a more recent one that we got. Manassas and Leesburg still holding at about 1.5 inches there. Of course, Howard measuring 1.7 earlier at our studios here in WSA 9. Hughesville, Virginia, 2.6. Some of the other snow totals that I got: Wolf Trap, of course, 1.9. Roseville, Virginia, 3.5. Leonardtown, 1 inch. And then Honeyville, Virginia, this one was new with 5 inches. Welcome, Maryland, which is in Charles County, is 1.1 inches of snow. So those are some of the newer ones that have just come out. What the National Weather Service does is they issue these public information statements every so often. They're constantly giving us updates on those totals so that we can keep track of what's happening. But we do want to hear from you. Again, if you can measure in 3 areas, if it's not too cold and you're feeling up to it, because the 3 is the better to get that average, let us know what you're getting. Snap a pic with the ruler and the snow. We want to see what's happening in your neighborhood, or share the pictures with us. We're more than happy to get those in. But we love to chat with you here on Facebook and even on Twitter, all the social media platforms. Really, just go ahead and send us that information. And also, if you do tweet it out on social, use the hashtag on Twitter, WSA9Weather. We're going to get that hashtag trending. Yes, we are. Howard?
Yeah, I'm just looking right now. I see 4.8 coming in Augusta County in West Virginia. That's in Fisherville, Shepherdstown with 2 inches. I'm looking at the NWS at the moment as well. 5 inches in Honeyville. That's in Page County, Virginia. Honeyville with 5.0. What do we got? 1.3 in Boonesboro. That is in Washington County, southeastern Washington County. A 0.1 in Hartford. Well, they haven't gotten anything yet. There are 4 inches in Shenandoah County, east-northeast of Jerome. 3.2 at National. Wow, that is their biggest storm in what, since over 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, or
Yeah,
almost
they
2
might have got
years.
a little burst there because it's more than we're seeing in other spots around that immediate area. So I was a little surprised to see that. And I mean, not totally. I guess this early. Yeah, I figured that number would pop up a little bit later. So interesting.
Right,
there.
and a lot of times at National Airport, they seem to just measure less than surrounding areas. So that is an eye raiser, but officially 3.2. Had Aquia with 2.9, so almost 3 inches down there as of 9:31. Wolf Trap had 1.9 at 9:20. So yeah, a lot of areas in that 1 to 2, 3 inch category.
2.3 in Percival.
Yeah, seeing that. That was at 8:30. So they could be up to 3.5 right now.
Yep.
Angelina, is New York getting 3 to 5? Well, that's, and I'm going to, let me get my clicker. Let me talk about New York for a minute. I have in-laws out on Long Island, and some of the models have been going nuts if it doesn't go to rain. I mean, you're talking 10, 15, 20 inches across parts of the New York metro area, but along the coastal areas, it looks to be rain to snow or snow to rain to snow. I mean, 3 to 5 probably would be a low end total for New York. And north and west of there have been some areas in northeast PA that could pick up 1.5 feet or more. That would also extend potentially in toward the lower Hudson Valley, parts of maybe northwestern Connecticut, those areas. So yes, those areas could get hit quite hard up there. Bill's only got 1/2 inch of Smithsburg. So Bill is up. Smithsburg, by the way, it's right there, not far from Camp David, far northeastern Washington County, almost on the Frederick border, but only 1/2 inch. And he's a snow lover, so he's probably been cursing me off in the background. Good morning from Muncie, New York, Muncie, Indiana. I don't know which Muncie you're talking about. Let me just Columbia, Maryland, and Richmond, Virginia. Columbia is still in the 3 to 5 that we had, and that's just through 7 o'clock. The question for Columbia is how much more do we add to that tomorrow night into Tuesday morning when the coastal gets going. And Richmond's already in the 2 to 4 range. I think some areas on the west side of Richmond could be looking at 5 inches down there. Iamsville in Frederick County so far about 1.5 inches, 3 inches in Charlestown, thank you. And Welcome is between La Plata and Nanjemoy. All right, we've got that thing settled as well. It's going to snow 6 to 2, yeah. Well, Bill says if it's going to snow, it better start snowing. 2 things. 1, yeah, it better start. 2, you also have a chance of the coastal getting you. But what could happen sometimes is when the primary gets going, right, dumps some snow, primary falls apart, coastal takes over, and then there are areas north and west of D.C., you know, between the mountains and the Blue Ridge that are in between both systems. And, hey, where'd our snow go? Well, the coastal took it, and the primary never delivered it. So that's how you know, you can have certainly a bust in the forecast in those areas.
You know, Topper, I was talking to him, and he on the 6 o'clock news said that second storm will break your heart. He said he's been here a long time, and he's seen it happen all too many times. And you know, if anybody loves snow, it's our chief, Topper Schutt. He loves the snow, so he's rooting for the higher numbers. But yeah, always got to watch that.
When our winds go to the northwest, Washington generally doesn't get a lot of snow. I think it was one of the storms in 09-10. We had a northwesterly wind and we picked up like another 6 or 8 inches. The storm just wasn't moving. It was incredible how it sat there. But the vast majority of the time when we go to a northwest wind in D.C., it just stops snowing. You're not going to pick up much more. So while we're expecting this today mostly, there's always things to learn from snow forecasts, some hits, some misses, some surprises. Some things we do well, some things we're like, what the heck happened there? So that's what's going on. But, you know, let's just talk about the impacts. We told you it was going to start snowing this morning. We told you it was going to stick to untreated surfaces. We told you snow was going to be in the forecast today, tonight, tomorrow, into Tuesday morning. That hasn't changed. There will be delays, closures, some travel difficulties. We're getting reports, if you've been reading the comments, of accidents up and down I-81. But sometimes forecasting an exact number when you have different precip types, dry slots, storms transferring energy from primary to coastal, you know, it's an educated guess, which is often the case.
Let's look at some of those impacts too, Howard. We've got, our yellow weather alert in place because of the hazard, and that's one of the main hazards, the roads, right? Becoming snow covered. As I've been mentioning, I was sliding this morning just coming in, and there was hardly any snow on the road at that point. So slick roads is one of the main hazards from this yellow weather alert. Of course, you got dogs out there, their little paws are going to get all full of snow. So it's a day we're going to definitely have to have the towels for them. Slow travel, that's the key thing. Not only because the roads could become snow covered, but even the ones that are treated and plowed. Sometimes there's that slush that builds up on top. So there's that. And then you just have to be careful. There were some reports earlier of a car sliding into the back of the snow plow truck. We want to let those snow plow trucks be able to do their jobs. Power outages, as I mentioned, is not a huge thing that we are anticipating out of this particular system. And just quickly go over that timeline again. Snow across the entire DMV right now is what we're getting, and we're starting to see some rapid accumulation out there with some of this snow. Now, later on this afternoon, as early as 1 o'clock, a lot of areas are going to start to transition. We've already seen some of that, and so there'll be more mixing in. But in general, by 7 o'clock, and we've already started to see this 3 to 5 pop up across the area, so we may even bump those numbers a bit more by 7 p.m. Sunday night, this is when we could run into a little bit of a lull. We'll have some light freezing rain at times, some rain, all mixing in, especially south and east of D.C., where some areas could go flat out to all rain. And then Monday, that's round 2. Early Monday morning through noon, you're looking at rain in the mix and then switching back over to snow. So I suspect by noon and afternoon Monday, you are definitely looking at the snow making its way back in for those areas that are more favored. Howard?
Yeah, hey, Beecher says 2 inches in Nova. Well, you got to be more specific. Northern Virginia is this whole chunk of area. So is it Fairfax? Is it Loudoun? Is it Prince William? So I appreciate the report. I just would like something more specific than Nova if possible. Linda says we're very busy at Shoppers. I think a lot of people did their shopping yesterday or Friday and don't want to go out on a Sunday morning with snow. 4.5 inches in Remington, Virginia. Again, back in this area where we've seen, yes, somebody said, did we get more than we thought? I think this morning you did get more than we were thinking. So you did pretty well there. Also, Andrew, Northern Virginia, right? Give me Fairfax, Reston, Loudoun. Where are you in Northern Virginia? Hey, Miss Lindy loves your blue dress, Mary.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
3 inches in Northern Fauquier from Andrew. Is that Warrenton, the Plains, Marshall? For Silver Spring right now probably has 2, give or take. I still think we'll end up with 3 to 5 by 7 o'clock tonight. So how many? I'm just looking here. Greencastle, Pennsylvania. Greencastle's way north. They've only had a ½ an inch. So some of the snow has been staying south. There's also been some dry air up there. But I'm going to go to radar now and just give a look at what's happening, because in Pennsylvania, you see how you got these little holes? So the air's been a little bit dry, so the storm's had to overcome that. But all of this moisture looks like it's headed this way. So, but that dry slot now looks like it's made it almost to Winchester now. Yeah, just about to Strasburg. So we've got that dry air right here working it in. So I think maybe by 11 o'clock or so, we could be in a dry slot in D.C. We still have some respectable snows. Ever see the blue? Now we're getting to a ½ inch, maybe an inch an hour coming down. So that's we've been picking those bands up to the south with the light snow in D.C. If you saw the temps, upper 20s and low 30s. With light snow just about everywhere. A little bit of not a snow. Urbana, seeing some of the heavier band of snow right now with the light snows everywhere. Although just west of Hagerstown here, looks like still south of the border. So maybe between Clear Spring and Hagerstown, we're looking at light to moderate snow at the moment. So if you are going to head out to Liberty or Whitetail or any of the local ski areas, take your time. But boy, it should be a good powder day to be on the slopes, and I'm a skier. But this is what could really affect the totals coming up. This dry slot, which is now moving to the Blue Ridge. So if you are toward Front Royal, things have quieted down. And in Richmond, I think this is some big wet flakes and some sleet starting to mix in from Richmond south. Maybe some freezing rain as well, with temperatures hovering about 31, 32 degrees. The rest of today, that mix of snow, some sleet, some freezing rain, some plain old rain and drizzle at times. And there will be lulls too as highs get into the low to mid 30s here in Washington. Some of you north and west especially will stay at or below freezing. So you may get some light freezing drizzle. Maybe a glaze, 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch is not out of the question. And then we see what we could potentially be expecting tomorrow when the coastal develops. Here's the primary storm. You see it near Chicago, moving to Indiana, this big counterclockwise circulation. As that moves east, the coastal is going to develop. It's going to rob the energy, and we could be in between the two systems at some point here. So that's why we're expecting a lull tonight. You can see it on the Futurecast, by the way, right? As we've got the blue as snow, and this seems to be overdoing it a little bit as far as the moisture. But the wetness in southern Maryland, the lull tonight, that's why we've got this light pink, light freezing drizzle, light rain. Here's the overnight, a lot of breaks here. Tomorrow morning, we're looking at some light freezing rain. We've got some light snow, especially west and Blue Ridge and northwest, and that's continuing tomorrow morning. Now by 11:30, a lot of area of light freezing rain or just sleet mixing in, and then finally, as the coastal gets going, it'll drag a little bit more cold air south. That's why the models are going back to some snow in spots, especially DC north Monday evening, but still a lot of breaks. So how much snow do we get with some more snow showers into Tuesday? Best guess at the moment is maybe a trace to an inch DC south, 1 to 3 north. And this is from tonight through Tuesday morning. And then potentially the bigger totals way north and especially northeast. So if you have to travel up in toward Pennsylvania, New Jersey with this system, by the time we get into later Monday and Tuesday and the coastal starts dumping snow for parts of the interior northeast. It's 10:12. We're going to be around for a couple more minutes. Mary, anything you want to add before we close up shop here on Facebook?
Just looking at the snow totals once again around the area, they're gradually starting to come in. I'll see what are some of the latest ones we got here. Looks like in Fairfax County, Lincolnia, that's about 1.5 inches. That was as of 9 a.m. Vienna, of course, we had 1.5 inches there. Frederick and Stevens City, about 1.5 inches, and about 5 inches in Greene County. And also in Hughesville, about 2.6 inches. So we're gradually seeing those numbers come in, and we'll be getting some more updates that we'll be posting digitally here on Facebook and also on our web stories, which are great resources that we constantly update for the very latest.
Yeah, I'm going to read a few more totals, and then we're going to hang it up for now, but we're going to be back on air from 11:30 to 1 on WUSA. So we'll be having you more on that. But a few more totals for you. 3 inches in Dale City, 1 to 2 in Ashburn, about 2 in Upper Marlboro, 1.5 in Indian Head, which is in southwestern Prince George's County on the way down 210. Good luck, Glenda, on the new job in Gambrels tomorrow. 3 to 4 in Friendsville, which is in Garrett County as you're going out 68 past Frostburg on your way toward 219. Some of the ridges up there. Katrina in St. Mary's, and I don't know if she's in northern or southern St. Mary's, but she says 3 inches. Madison 4, 2.5 at Broad Run Farms in Sterling. Let's see, and it's coming this way in Connecticut later tonight. Yes, Eva or Ava, it is coming to Connecticut big time, especially once you get away from the sound. I think interior Connecticut, you're right, 1 to 2 feet potentially is my guess, or at least 12 to 18. So I'm gonna have to say goodbye for now. It's 10:14 Sunday morning. The thing to watch for the rest of the day will be the dry slot that's coming in here this morning. I'm going to back it up on the radar, but quickly, this dry slot that we're looking at. Now on I-81 approaching the Blue Ridge, so we are going to get, looks like a lull, but some areas have had, 4 or 5 inches of snow this morning. We'll get some on and off snow and a mix as we get into the mid to late afternoon, a lull tonight, and then the coastal, whether or not it cranks near us or farther north and east will determine whether or not we get just a little bit more, or in some cases another 3 to 6 inches north of town, additional snows later Monday night into the overnight period. For Mary Marshall, I'm meteorologist Howard Bernstein. Hope we see you at 11:30 here on WUSA 9. Have a great Sunday, everybody.